The Iron Mining Association of Minnesota hosted a community meeting tonight, talking about the impact the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency's mostly unenforced wild rice sulfate standard will have on mines like Keetac if the standard were to be enforced. Well, Northern News Now's Ryan Hayes was at that meeting and shares how both sides are feeling on this complicated issue.
In the early 70s, the MPCA set the standard that waterways used in wild rice production, like the Shannon River here in Chisholm, can have no more than 10 milligrams of sulfate per liter. Now, that standard has sparsely been enforced, but the Iron Mining Association of Minnesota says if it were to be, the consequences on the industry would be dire.
And someone has to wake the governor up, someone has to wake the state up. This is impossible.
The Minnesota Discovery Center in Chisholm was packed with politicians and community stakeholders expressing concerns that the MPCA will enforce the 10 milligram standard.
It needs to get updated, brought in with modern science and what's actually going on in the field to be more accurate.
Senior Director of Environmental for Mintac and Keetac, Chrissy Bartovich, says adhering to the standard would make the mines uncompetitive in the global market, instead arguing it needs to be higher. She says keeping it at the standard would cost them hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's only really expensive treatment methods that are available, which can make us cost not competitive.
While the Mining Association opposes the standard, Paula McAbee from Minnesota-based nonprofit Water Legacy says they're in place for a good reason.
The administrative law judge and chief judge determined that the standard, it was necessary to keep that standard to comply with the Clean Water Act.
She says if the standard isn't met, it will hurt wild rice production.
It will weaken seed production, and eventually it decimates. So an area that once was wild rice that was abundant and could feed wildlife or a whole family would have just a few sparse stalks.
Breaking down an important debate on the amount of sulfate that can be in our waterways. From the Shannon River, Ryan Hayes, Northern News Now.
Ryan, thank you. The MPCA will be hosting an informational meeting September 3rd at Iron Trail Motors in Virginia at 6 o'clock to discuss wastewater permits and variance requests from the Keetac facility. And U.S. Steel will be hosting an open house immediately before at the same place. Both sides are encouraging the public to share their concerns.